Welcome everyone to Politically High Tech with your host, Elias. I'm gonna rage a war. Yes, not the kind you're used to with bombs and rockets and nuclears and cyber attacks. The war from within. The war against old beliefs. The war against negativity. The war against limitations. That's the kind of war we're gonna wage here. And she is, I will say, a Valkyrie. That's a proper term for a female warrior. She is going to attack head on this issue, and trust me, I need some of this help as well. I mean, when some episodes going to be released, you could tell one of them I was on the funk, even though I was able to do the interview well, but my emotional state was not at its peak. So obviously, I need it. I would be crazy to deny that. Okay. So I'm going to introduce this guest here, who's going to help me become a stronger energy soldier against the negativity, okay? Let's welcome Lucy Potasnik.
Why, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on. I am excited and grateful to be here today.
You hear that? She exudes positivity already, so you know this is going to be a very legit conversation. This is not the fake positive toxicity nonsense that some of us have been exposed to, okay?
You can't just talk the talk, you have to walk the walk.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm happy today. Yeah, the facial expression and nonverbal cues is giving a totally different message. That's what people actually pick up more than the words. And for one of the other previous guests, we talked about how, the words is like 7 to 10% depending on what study you look at, so it's very minimal. If you can perfect your vocabulary, but if your tone and body language doesn't match it, you have some credibility issues, and understandably so. People are not stupid. There's something off here. That's where you act too positive, something fake going on. Some people have a great lie detector. Okay? At least those little old machines that just have out to scribbles and all that. They have in their mind, they can discern that. So, with that, introduce yourself. What do you want the audience to know about you?
So, hi guys, my name is Lucy. I grew up in Michigan, born and raised in the Mitten, and just like Napoleon Hill states, that the starting point for all achievement is a burning desire. So I like to ask people, like, what is it that when you were younger you would just fantasize about? What was it that you were obsessed with as a child? And did you pursue this dream? Was it a vacation that you wanted to take? Was it an animal that you one day wanted to adopt? What was it? You wanted to become a firefighter or police officer? What were you obsessed with as a child, and how has it manifested in your life today, or has it? So my story goes back that I was obsessed with horses. I would pray at night, beg my dad every single day, Dad, please buy me a horse. The problem with that was that I grew up in the city. My parents were blue-collar workers. My mom had 2 factory jobs. And horses were just totally out of the realm of possibilities. Like, no way, Jose, it's not happening. So I did the only thing I knew how to do, and I would pray about it every single night. Say, dear God, please let me just dream that I'm riding horses in my dreams, so that way it feels like I'm actually doing it in real life. And sure enough, I can't tell you how many times I'd wake up, I'd be putting my left foot in the store, throwing my leg over my dream, and then poof, I'd wake up. So it wasn't long after that where I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to take massive action. I need to take matters into my own hands. And so the day that I turned 16 was the day that I got my driver's license. I made a Craigslist ad, and I said, I will ride your horse for free. And that is when I figured out that if you can follow your passion, and find where your skill set lies, what your talents are, and exploit them in the service of others, not only will you find unprecedented success and fulfillment, but you'll also be met with joy and abundance and freedom on the other side of service to others. So that's where my handy dandy Craigslist ad took me. I was a 16-year-old with a brand new driver's license, driving all around God's country, riding these yahoos were calling me with their unbroke, green-broke horses, like, hey, I have this horse. I saw that you wanted to ride it. Next thing you know, I'm getting bumped off, thrown off, flipped over on top of, pretty much everything you can think of, it happened. So, but that's the thing, is that life is going to throw you curveballs, especially when you're following your passion, when you feel like your life is, you're doing life on purpose, and everything seems like it's going right and it's working out. Boom, you get thrown off the horse, you eat dirt. And so it's so important to just stay laser focused on your goal and never give up. It's like just that relentless drive to pursue your passion. So I always saw that as a failing forward. You live, you learn, and it didn't matter how many times I got thrown off that horse. I was always the happiest thing to just crawl right back on. I never received any sort of formal instruction or riding education as a child. Like I said, grew up in a very, lower middle class home. But the horses eventually taught me everything that I know today. And so if you ask some of the most brilliant business owners, the most successful entrepreneurs, why they attribute, what they attribute their success to, I can guarantee you they're not going to say, oh, it's because I got lucky. They're going to say, because they tried and failed more times than most. So for my example of that is, why am I the rider that I am today? Because I tried, failed, and fell off more times than most. And so basically, I ended up meeting a horse dealer who would get in 50 horses a week. I had to ride everything, and I had to sell it fast, quick, and cheap. Because if I didn't sell it fast enough, then he was going to ship it to Canada, meaning to the slaughterhouse. So again, here I am, 16-year-old girl on a mission to save all the horses of the world. And that was really my first step into the world of entrepreneurship, because it was like, the sky is the limit. How many horses do you want to ride? How many horses do you want to list for sale? Do you want to save 5, 10, 15, 20 horses a day? And I did that. I bought, trained, and sold horses, starting in high school all the way into college. And then when I graduated college, I got scooped up into the corporate world, and I still sold horses on the side. However, I don't know how many, radiating positivity. I just saw the movie The Secret, and I'm just inspired and excited at the idea of, like, thoughts become things. All you have to do is think a thought and believe it, and you can do have anything you want. How exciting is this? And he's like, whatever, Kate, go back into your cube and work on your Excel spreadsheets. So it wasn't long. I was in the corporate world for 3 years. And during that time of my Excel spreadsheet, just immersion, I was listening the whole time in my headphones, and I had Dr. Wayne Dyer. I don't know if you're familiar with his teachings or his wisdom, but one of his principles is, don't die with your music still inside of you. And I don't know if any of your listeners have ever felt like they were meant for more, and that they just weren't living a truly fulfilled life. And like they couldn't stand that feeling of being stuck in another monotonous day of just driving in rush hour traffic in the queue to be surrounded by people that you didn't even care about. And that was me. And so I ended up taking a leap of faith and a chance on myself, and I quit my corporate job, which was one of the scariest things I've ever done, to go ahead and sell horses full time. Even though everybody thought I was crazy, my parents did not support this decision at all. I did it, and I went on, long story long, I went on to build and scale a 7-figure business where I now buy, train, and sell horses all over the country. And I accidentally opened up one of Michigan's largest public trail riding companies, again, just because I wanted to share one of my favorite hobbies with the world. And word of mouth spread like fire, and the positive reviews ramped up, and everything just exploded. And I'm not saying that to say, oh, hey, look at me, life's so easy. And that's not at all what I'm saying. There have been my fair share of hardships and difficulties throughout all of that. But my point that I want to make is that it's important to live, lead, and inspire by example. And if I have that's why I have become obsessed with teaching quantum physics and essentially showing people how to leverage the laws of the universe to very intentionally create the life of your dreams. If I can do it, I have a whole toolbox that I love to give people to show them how they can create the same freedom in their life as well.
You hear that, listeners? I'm telling you, this is going to be the war against your negativity, your limiting beliefs and all that. This is really the war for within. And she's going to share some things and some insights about, especially, well, I mean, the question easy to start with. Why are so many people so stuck, so defeated? And I'm going to put /r, or, because sometimes they're interconnected, depressed. I mean, why so many people just so negative?
Well, I mean, it's really easy to be, we live in a very distracted society right now, where it's in a society full of screens, where we're hooked on our phone and we're scrolling social media, and next thing you know, we're comparing ourselves to this person. That basically the highlight reel of everyone else's life. We get to compare our life to the highlights of everybody else, and it's just not fair. And unfortunately, we need to remind ourselves that comparison is the thief of all joy. And then when you pair that with what's going on the news stations, you watch the news and it's like, that is meant to, like, their job is to get ratings, and what sells? Fear sells. So then all of a sudden you turn the news on and it's all fear and chaos and panic and bad news. And all of that, what that does is that essentially lowers your vibration. And I know that might sound a little woohoo to some of your guests out there, or like some of your listeners. But I really like to truly explain to people that we live in a vibrational universe where everything moves and everything vibrates, and you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And so that's why it's so important to really become aware of the thoughts that you're thinking, the language that you're using, so the actions that you're taking, how you're responding to external events, things that happen outside of you, the meaning that you're assigning to different things, because that can totally shift our perspective, as well as how we're interpreting things, because someone can text us something and we can read it and we can interpret it entirely the wrong way. So we have to begin to take radical responsibility. And when we begin to take radical responsibility, that's when we start to take back control of our life. People right now are more depressed than ever. They feel stuck because they're stuck in a story. And that's what I really like to share with people, is that they're stuck in a story, which means we all tell ourselves, like, we all have this story, we all have a narrative, we all have a past or a history. All can share this story with our friends, with our family, with people that we're just getting to know, with our counselors. And this story really shapes who we are. And a lot of times people people define themselves from a memory of the past instead of a vision of the future. And when you don't have a compelling vision of the future to propel you to think different thoughts and take different actions, it can really seem like a bleak existence. And so that's why I love helping people break free of this feeling of being stuck.
And I know for some of you who are very scientific, even sometimes downright atheists, this is all crazy. Lucy's crazy. Eliza's crazy for allowing her to be in this podcast. Well, you know what? We are spiritual beings and we do operate on energy. And that's been scientifically proven. So I think you're crazier to deny this, personally. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm a little bit graceful today. Normally, I'll go on a rant, especially those who are cynical. Look, you don't have to believe it. It's entirely up to you at the end of the day. My thing is, give it a shot. Never know what's going to happen. Really give it a shot. Put your best foot forward. Have good intentions about it. Really give it a shot. Because look, I used to be the same way. I even thought The Secret was crazy. And I read the entire book. I said, oh my goodness, I can't believe I bought this book for nothing. This is insane. I thought this was going to be something that's going to, I don't know, help me unlock certain secrets of, and I was taking it very literal scientific, maybe certain secrets how to make money and things like that. Well, it does relate. It's just that I was just hoping for more practical business, earthly tips instead of just more spiritual quantum physics. So that's all. I was there. I'm in the process of getting better at that, having more of a future-oriented mindset, who I want to become instead of being stuck to the past. I think so that's how so many people we cling to that trauma, that past, and we wear it subconsciously. A lot of us don't even realize it.
Absolutely.
And when you consume on TV, I love that you add the social media, because I say that's one of the biggest ones, and news television. I will even add just Twitch. You can use it for both smartphone and TV. Movies. If you play a lot of movies about deceit, backstab, betrayal, and action, you're gonna have some resentment. Maybe you become more aggressive watching those action movies. Or when it comes to thrillers, you're not gonna trust people. So that, oh my goodness, Lucy's gonna backstab. She has that smile to put my guard down. Or she's gonna shake me. And I'm sure she's not gonna do that. But that's usually an easy example. That's the thing with thriller movies. I was starting to get more paranoid, not trusting anybody at their word. And 9 out of 10 times they were honest. So it does shape you without realizing it, because it seeps into your subconscious.
Absolutely.
And that's why, and I'm sure she's going to agree with this, awareness is one of the key ingredients. It's one of the key ingredients. If you're not aware of it, you can be stuck in this cycle. This is why it's called... So go ahead.
Yeah, no, everything that you're saying is spot on. That we are absolutely conditioned beings. We're conditioned from our past, from our parents. Our parents' beliefs that they passed down to us, from any sort of traumas that we've experienced. And if we take a step back and really analyze our lives are nothing more than a sequence of different patterns. And these patterns are running unconsciously. So we have all of these unconscious patterns and programs because we are creatures of habit by nature. We like to do the same thing every morning, every afternoon, and every evening that we're doing on repeat. They just came out with a study in Harvard. It's 48% of all of our daily actions are on autopilot. So, and to your point, it's like, okay, well, if we know that we are where we are today based on every decision that we've made up until this point, we can very definitively say that decision shapes our destiny. So if we want a bright new future, or if we want an amazing new relationship, if we want financial freedom, more money in the bank, better health, a six-pack abs, we're going to have to start making different decisions than we've made up until this point. But it's like, how do we do that? How do we change who we are? We have to essentially let go of our old identity and embrace a totally new version of ourselves. But in order to stop or really interrupt these patterns that have their grip on us, we have to become aware of them. We can't change what we're unaware of. All change is preceded by awareness. So when you said that awareness is key, I'm like, yes, absolutely. We can't change what we're unaware of. And so many people we're all conditioned, and we all have unconscious patterns of programs. And so we need to become more aware of our thoughts, of our words, of our actions, of our reactions, of how we're responding to things, of our interpretations. So that way we can replace these old habits that don't serve us, or these limiting beliefs that don't serve us, with habits, routines, rituals that will not only inspire us and excite us, but they'll raise our vibration. So then we'll be operating at a whole nother vibrational playing field, and we'll have access to all of these high vibrational people, places, things that all of a sudden cross our path to satisfy, excite, and delight us. So, yes, I couldn't agree more with everything you just said.
And for those of you who are recurring listeners, I am no stranger to spirituality and law of attraction. Even before I had guests on, I have known some of this stuff, and I had to really pay attention to my skepticism, because when I question things before I take action, and sometimes I gave a trillion excuses. I mean, we are so rich with excuses. So it's like, maybe later. When I'm bored. And that now I got something going on. I mean, on and on and on and on and on. So that's why, and I'm going to throw in a biblical quote. The old man must die. That means your old ways of thinking, living, all of that needs to be changed. And I'm sure other religions have different wording, but it boils down to the same thing. You can't just be this person who's going to be lazy, depressed, cynical, or just think everyone's out to get you, or embrace that victim mentality if you're going to want change. So that's what I'm going to say. I could speak a lot more on that. I want to talk just a little bit about the solutions. I mean, how can we have access to peak emotional states? And feel free to correct me if I go off the rails a little bit. Kind of like joy, calmness. I don't even say clairvoyance. I mean, you can detect negativity and not be bothered by it, but just recognize it around is fine.
Yeah. So, let's define what a peak emotional state is. So, a peak emotional state, when was the last time that you felt energized, when you felt passionate, when you felt on fire, like you could hurdle over any obstacle that was placed in your path? And then I like to ask people, well, how many hours a day do you spend in that excited, high vibrational state where you feel invincible, where you feel unstoppable? And then people will start to smile and look around and be like, I don't know. Well, how many hours, if it's not how many hours a day, how many hours a week? How many hours a month? And then all of a sudden it's like, well, I rarely operate at that level. Why? Because again, people are conditioned to feel stress. We're conditioned to feel overwhelmed, to feel guilt, to feel anger, to feel frustrated. And it's like, we are so accustomed to feeling these lower vibrational emotions, fear, lack, guilt, sadness, stress, overwhelm, whatever it is. And after so many days, weeks, months, years, those emotions become to take on our personality. And that seems to become, that is who we become to embody. So what I like to teach people is really how to access these peak emotional states and then how to maintain them for hours a day, for multiple days in a row. Because if we know that our decisions shape our destiny, what's the one thing that shapes every single decision that you've ever made? It's going to be your energy level, your state, your emotional state. If you're in a peak emotional state and you feel unstoppable and passionate on top of the world, you're going to be making radically different decisions than you would if you were sad or angry or fearful or depressed. Radically different decisions. So what that means is if we can help people to operate at these high vibrational levels of joy and freedom and peace and serenity, whatever that looks like, whatever high vibrational emotion that may be, you're going to be essentially setting yourself up for success, because as you move throughout the day, not only are you going to be attracting higher vibrational people, places, things, experiences, but you're also going to be making every single one of your decisions from that higher altitude. And to answer your original question, how do you access this? I like to give people a whole different toolbox of strategies, tools, and techniques to be able to do that. But one of my favorite, for example, is going to be meditation. If there's one thing I would recommend everybody start incorporating into their daily routine that I can guarantee will garner extraordinary results and up-level every area of your life, it's going to be meditation. Why? Because the definition of meditation means to become familiar with oneself, to become aware of yourself. And just like we had spoke about, all changes preceded by awareness. So once we become aware of the thoughts that we're thinking, the words that we're using, and how we're reacting to things, we can begin to take back control of our lives. And instead of living from the outside in and allowing the external world or things that are outside of us to affect our internal state, to bring us down or make us sad, we can flip that around and we can start living from the inside out, meaning we embody the emotions of joy, of freedom, of bliss, of excitement, of joy. And when we embody that internally, we emit that and we attract that, and therefore we will experience that in our 3D world.
Yep. I mean, meditation, that's, it's not for the guru. It's not just for the gurus, the whole meditation. And there's always has to be all these funny sounds or things like that. You do it your own time, have a comfortable position, but you have to be open to it. Your very cues has to show a great level of openness, calmness, ready to receive it. I mean, sometimes I forget, and trust me, I will know the difference. And I try to squeeze in some meditations here and there and there. Find some time for it. Maybe 10 minutes. If you're a pro, some people can do it hours. You know, I did have one guest before I talked about that, so I can meditate for easily 2 hours. No problem. Just be in this state of bliss and self-love, and you have zero judgment, because judgment is a negative that lowers the vibration. Yeah. You know, and this comes for someone who's just a plain spiritualist. So there's a lot of similarities, maybe redundant to some of you, but she's coming from a more perseverance angle. I mean, remember her horse story? She did practically almost every era without killing herself. Obviously, that'd be tragic. Doesn't if it would ever happen. To learn how to ride a horse, she tripped. Well, I'm sure she didn't touch the horse's back engine if they keep it clean, because I'm sure it would have gone crazy. I'm sure she's smart enough not to do that, but she did almost every single era except for the one that killed herself, or did some of the problem that the horse will go berserk and lose its mind. She tripped. She probably got out of it. She probably mounted the wrong way, or probably put the leg positioning wrong. I mean, I rode horses, and trust me, I needed help. It's rewarding once you know how to do it, but getting the setup and all that, it could be sometimes challenging. This is coming from a native New Yorker. It's actually so rewarding, satisfying once it's done great.
Yeah, well, and that's like exactly what you're talking about is what I like to share with people, because people have this preconceived idea that you have to be a monk living in the Tibetan mountains and, or, you know, in orange yoga attire. And it's like, no, you don't need to be in a robe. You don't need to shave your head. That's not the case at all. You don't even have to do it for 2 hours. Just wake up 10 minutes earlier. Gift yourself. That way it's not a huge commitment. And then the more you do it, the better you'll feel. And you'll want to do it for 20 minutes and then 30 minutes and then 40 minutes. And the next thing you know, you're doing it for an hour. You're like, oh my God, that was amazing. But if you just start small, that way you can commit to 10 minutes every single day. And I like to share with people as well that it's not one size fits all, and there's no wrong way. I like to kind of explain it almost if you were to go to a buffet, where there's just a smorgasbord of different types of meditations. There's the mantra meditations where you're saying a word like ah or Then there are their guided meditations where you have like your abundance meditations, you have your healing meditations, you have your chakra balancing meditations, you have just silence meditations where you sit in silence, you have music meditations, you have breath work meditations. I mean, you'll have like walking meditation, you have all sorts of different meditations. But the idea, the point, the purpose behind meditating essentially is to raise your vibration, because again, I want to remind you that we live in a vibrational universe where everything moves and everything vibrates, meaning that your thoughts are things, your words are things. Your thoughts and your words are powerful, and they carry an energy or a frequency to them. And if we know that we think on average 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of those thoughts are negative, we're not doing ourselves a service. We need to become aware of the thoughts that we're thinking so that way we can change them. The quality of our life is defined by the quality of our thoughts. So, and then we wonder why there's all sorts of drama and chaos on the news, and why the news is what people are tuning into most, because it's what people want to see. It's like entertainment, and because people gravitate towards what's familiar to them. And if what's familiar is stress and fear and anxiety, then the TV and the news is exactly what they're going to go and do and watch and participate in. However, when you're taking the time every single morning to give yourself 10 minutes in whatever kind of minute, maybe it's a peace and harmony, maybe it's an ease and flow meditation, whatever it is, you are essentially quieting your mind. And when you quiet your mind, that little voice in your head that's always talking, that's constantly tearing you down and telling you that you're not good enough, guess what? You get to quiet that voice and tell it waits to zip it. And that's when you start to become aware of your thoughts. So it's all about closing your eyes, focusing on your breath, and then whether it's 5 seconds or 10 seconds or 30 seconds, eventually a thought is gonna wiggle its way in. And guess what? You don't have to get mad or irritated or upset or think that you're failing, or, people say, oh, I don't know how to meditate, Lucy. I tried, but I just can't get my mind to shut off. And it's just like, well, you're human and you're not dead. So your mind's not supposed to shut off. You're doing it the right way. What happens is it's the acknowledgement of that thought and then lovingly releasing it and then returning back to center, returning back to your breath, and then just starting again, focusing on your breath, focusing on your breathing. And then guess what? 5, 10, 15 seconds are going to pass and another thought's going to come in. And instead of falling down the rabbit hole of like, oh, I got to go pick the kids up and then I got to go grocery shopping and oh, what am I making for dinner? Oh, I got to drop the thing off at the post office. And be like, oh, stop. Wait a second. I'm thinking thoughts again. And then you just lovingly release them and then you come back to your breath. That is the beauty and the power of meditation. It's not just simply residing in a state of blank mind. It's about acknowledging the thoughts that are coming in, lovingly releasing them, and then returning back to your breath. And the reason why this is so powerful is because it makes you become two things. One, you're spending time practicing what freedom feels like, what joy, what peace, what love feels like. And then the second thing is that you're becoming aware of the thoughts that you're thinking as well as the emotions that you're feeling. So what that means is when you're not meditating, when you're just going about your day, living your life, and life throws you a curveball, something happens unexpectedly, your external circumstances rattle you, whether it's you're driving in traffic and someone cuts you off, or your boss shows up and he tells you bad news, or you get in a fight with your spouse, whatever thing shows up, instead of you responding out of anger, animosity, or fear, that knee-jerk response that you normally would respond, instead, you're like, wait a second, I don't want to respond in that way. And all of a sudden, you change your response. All change begins within ourselves. Once we begin to change ourselves, only then can our outer world, our external reality, begin to change to match our inner world. Our outside world is a direct reflection of our inside world. But like you said, we can't change what we're unaware of. And so that's why meditation grants us that awareness.
Yep. I really hope you're getting this, listeners. Because this is vital. It's not a replacement of Christianity, Muslim, Taoist, Buddhist, Hinduism, and all the other religions. Okay? This could be an amplifier. And sometimes it breaks down simple, because the wording is more clear. Sometimes the Bible's not clear on explaining certain things. You have to meditate and stuff, find out what that is. And life and death is at the power of the tongue. So if you jokingly say, I'm fat, and I did that, but I'm overweight now. Okay? I said, I want to be fat because I don't want certain people being attracted to me. Oh, I got that. And trust me, it was more than what I really, really wanted. But since that was that negative going on autopilot, it manifested. Okay? I could go on deep about that. But thank goodness I have rewired my brain. Now I'm shedding those abundant fats and pounds off. So it's a work in progress, Eddie, because we're a creature of habit.
Yeah.
And that's the war within. You're fighting your old self. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time.
It's a practice.
It's a practice. It's like exercising. At the beginning, it's so unpleasant, so uncomfortable, but it gets easier. And you got to replace habits. You can't kill habits. You can replace them. And I love when you said that. It doesn't have to be a perfect, quiet meditation, because I even had that misconception. It's all I need to be silent to the point that I'm comatose. No, almost you're near death, you're heading to a state that's close to death. So don't get talk about that at all. You just acknowledge your thoughts, narrate, process them, and then you just lovingly give them away. And use the Christian thing again. Leave your worries to God, or Vishnu, or Buddha, whatever you believe in.
Yeah, whatever
dump it on
your
them.
power is. Dr.
Or the universe, if we want to be more general. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Totally. Dr. Windar talks about how when we talk about water. Well, is it water? Is it H2O? Is it agua? Whatever we want to call it. Like, the water is water. When you drink it, you put your hand in it. If you feel it, it's water. But, so whatever people want to call it is fine. Whatever name you want to assign to it, it's fine. It's just that belief is like having unshakable faith in yourself and in your just pursuing your passion and knowing that you are so worthy and that you deserve it. That little component of belief is what is so strong. I like to say that belief is what bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Because if you don't believe that you're worthy, there's always going to be a vibrational discrepancy. And so that's why it's so important to really take a deep look at the thoughts that we're thinking and identify those limiting beliefs, because those limiting beliefs are really going to hold us hostage in the land of mediocrity, and we're not going to be able to reach the levels of success that we dream of if we don't ultimately believe that we're worthy of them.
Absolutely. Again, this is why I call it the war within. You have no war against your old self because you want a better life, right? I'm assuming you want a better life. Now, I'm sure all of us want a better life, even the negative, cynical people. The problem is the how, their will, and to your story of the horse, perseverance. Because you're going to go through trials. It is a war. It's not easy. It can be a pretty long journey. But it's not a literal war. So don't think I'm talking about rockets and missiles and nuclear bombs and cyber attacks and all that craziness. Trust me, that's for politics, okay? I'll talk more about that. But this is for a spiritual human development episode. So we're going to do good things. And probably the most violence going to be is just probably within yourself, because you're challenging habits you formed, I would say decades on average for most people. And I know it's not easy. Trust me. If it was like 1, 2, 3 step, I would be lying to you. But do the work. It's worth it. It's worth it. And sometimes I gotta take a step back because sometimes I forget. Just know your triggers.
Yeah.
Know how you forget. Remember, awareness is key. Awareness is what's gonna make you persevere, recover when you're not doing the work that's just so important.
Yeah. And really putting like surrounding yourself with a network of extraordinarily positive people, that's super powerful, because when you're going through the valleys of life, having that support system of positive people behind you is also going to be key in helping you maintain a high vibrational state of being. Not only is it surrounding yourself with the right people and networking with high vibrational people, but then it's also creating the rituals and the habits, like the power of a morning routine and a night routine. Oh my God, off the charts. Because when we talk about rewiring our subconscious mind is most susceptible first thing in the morning when we wake up, and at nighttime right before we go to sleep. And just like you had mentioned earlier about paying attention to what we're consuming, if we're paying if we're spending time scrolling social media, if we're watching the news, if we're watching violent TV shows or movies, we are doing ourselves an incredible disservice. We need to be very intentional about all of the content we're consuming. And it's like, if you truly want to be the best version of yourself, emotionally, financially, physically, spiritually, all of these things, then you're going to have to stop doing what you've always done and put what does your morning routine look like? How are you living with intention? What books are you reading? What are you journaling? How are you setting your intentions for the day, for the week, for the month? How often are you taking inventory of your thoughts or of the success that you'd like to experience, and doing that every week, every day, every month? And then what does your nightly routine look like? What are you doing every single night before you go to sleep? Let's identify all of the habits that you're doing every single day that aren't serving you, that aren't moving the needle, that aren't really bringing you closer to your goals. Like, are you snacking at night? Are you eating a lot of fast food? Are you do you have a gym membership? How many days a week are you spending moving your body, elevating your heart rate? I mean, what kind of books are you reading? So I think that really it's all about just becoming the best version of yourself. It's not just like, oh, it's a fleeting thought. It really needs to be a burning desire. It needs to become a lifestyle. Because again, we have to live, lead, and inspire through our actions, by our example. And once we start doing that, it's like we can be bright, we can be lighthouses and inspire others around us to step into the best versions of themselves. So it's like a match that lights all the flames around us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we dug in so deep with the subconscious emotional state because even political tribalism is manifested because of low vibration at such a massive, massive scale. I mean, I could go on for hours about how this craziness is manifested. I just pray that we don't repeat a civil war. Instead of this being based on economics, it's going to be based on political ideology. Either way, it's going to be the consequences are going to be dire if we get our acts together. So you're doing your part.
Yeah.
Okay, when you get this work, starting to do this work, you're doing your part, believe it or not. No matter how little it seems to you, you're doing your part to make not just your life better, even America and a society better. You know, because you're going to have, your vision is going to become clear. Maybe you're going to go back to having a vision. And I'm just going to answer real quick why a vision is very important. Is because it gives you a direction where you need to go. And I know what life was like trying to live out a vision for personal life. I don't know, or your personal goals or business, whatever you have. Yeah, having purpose instead of keeping you, it's definitely going to raise your vibration because you have something you can focus on instead of just, I don't know, that's a crazy example I could give. Instead of paying attention to, I don't know, twerking in social media. Yes, I said that. Or political scandals. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, or stupid pranks. Now you're not going to trust me because of, oh, well, is that door safe? Is it going to drop a cold bucket of water from above? You know, things like that. I mean, I can't tell you to completely stop. That's going to be really up to you at the end of the day. But try to cut back that. Watch videos and consume content that's going to make you a better person and give you some tips on how to. And now transition Seamus Plunkett even joined her program that she has. I think it's for free. The Ultimate Success Blueprint, right? For those who click on that link.
Well, so our website is open. So basically, we've put together this 16-week program that helps people very intentionally rewire their subconscious mind and transform their identity, kind of like we mentioned, death of the old self, death of the ego, and becoming a totally different version of yourself. So that way you can start taking massive action towards your goals. And what we've done is we've condensed this into a 2-hour training. It's a digestible 6-part series. And normally this training sells for $1,000 on our website, but we have a special promo code for you and your listeners, which is politically. So for politically like that. So the promo code is politically, And once you enter that promo code in, you can access and download that training for free, completely no cost. And that's going to have all sorts of different strategies, techniques to essentially become the best version of yourself. And then the second thing that I wanted to mention is that I'm also like super excited about is we have a really amazing community where it's called Transformation Nation, and we're on Facebook. And every single day, we're putting out positive content to uplift, to inspire, and to teach people how to take massive action towards your goals, how to become the best version of yourself, how to just take fear and do away with it. And so every single day we're putting out content. And even more exciting, I asked myself the question, okay, how can I serve? How can I positively impact the most amount of people as possible? And like I had mentioned earlier, I believe that meditation is one of the things that will change people's lives in beautiful ways. So every single Friday at 10:30 Eastern, I lead a live gratitude meditation. So whether people are seasoned meditators or you're just getting started, you heard meditating, you're curious, maybe you've tried it and you're like, I don't know, I couldn't do it. This is a place, it's called Transformation Nation on Facebook, where I go live and we always leave the recordings up. So even if you're having, maybe it's a Tuesday night and you just got in a fight with your spouse or whatever thing happened and you're just not feeling out of alignment, you don't feel good, you can go ahead and go back in there, click on whatever meditation you'd like, and you can listen to it, and it's like a beautiful rampage of appreciation that I can guarantee will uplift your spirits and automatically put you in a better mood.
So we give you, some antidote, tools, metaphorically speaking, swords, shields, if you want to get extra fantastical staff to attack the old belief. Why am I this creative? I don't know. If I'm going to blame someone, it's definitely going to be Lucy for raising my vibrations to the screen. I believe that. I don't care if you call me crazy. No scientific evidence is going to change that. Okay. I just said, let me just be a little more creative with this one instead of just talking ABCP. The war from within. Trust me, if I didn't feel this good, I would not be this creative having fun with it. So the war from within. And the title's not that unique. Other video games or even movies, they have used this title, phrase, whatever you can call it, just to give you an idea what's going to happen. So, alright, so that's, and another thing I want to share is, she mentioned Facebook, she's also on YouTube and Instagram as well, and she also got she told Transformation Nation, yes, that rhymes, no hate on you creative critics, okay? And her other website is lucylynn.com, so check all her services, see what she does, okay? So anything else you want to add before I wrap this up?
I just want to remind everybody that you are the powerful, magnificent creator of your own reality. Thoughts become things. So stay inspired, stay positive, and just spread the love. Be the love, be the light.
Yep. Well, feed that light. Stop being cheap with the light and stop being very generous to the darkness. Okay? Trust me, I used to be there, being pretty generous with the darkness. Seems cool, seems edgy. No, see, that's where you can get trapped. A light, it's gonna seem cheesy, cliche at times, but trust me, it's good for you. It's good for you. So I can't reject me vegetables. Yeah, it looks ugly, doesn't taste as good, but it's what gets you stronger. Instead of that fried food, from Wendy's, McDonald's, or what have you. So if you want to elevate your vegetable by adding sauce and all that, go right ahead. If you want to do that compromise, elevate it if you want. Maybe it'll make it more digestible. But don't do it plain. You gotta make yourself better. You gotta treat your body with respect. I haven't done for a while, but this long delayed since like 2 years ago. And come see it, okay? So you can do it. Just go through it. Be patient. Be graceful with yourself, okay? You'll get there. Don't judge others, don't judge yourself either. Because that's not good. We judge ourselves. We are our harshest critic. Just like that inner negative voice that she mentioned. Alright? So that's my final thought: to fight against this tribalism, and more importantly for this conversation, your old self that's holding you back. Try the other zone. I know it's familiar, you like to be comfortable there, but try the other zone. Especially if you're having struggles with money, health, relationships, businesses, all the other aspects of your life. So just give it a shot. That's all I'm asking. And trust me, and she's giving a free program. So I don't want to hear excuse. Okay, I gotta say, the money thing. No. The free thing, once you put the promo code enlightening, that's spelled POLITICALLY. Yeah, I don't want excuses. Oh, I don't got access. Oh, I'm too broke. I don't want to hear that. You're just not broke, okay? Give it a shot. Give it a shot. That's all I'm asking you. Just try it. Give it a shot. You'll be surprised. Be open to just have a preconceived, cynical belief status. You gotta challenge yourself here. Yourself is your biggest obstacle. So, from wherever you're listening to this podcast, you have a blessed day, afternoon, or night.